What's up, Sunil Sharma? How are you doing? Now, if you heard what those guys just said, so I was talking over there at that coffee about 30 minutes ago, and he tells me, I left the business like 10 years ago, right? And you came back and you were just shocked that not much had changed.
I think the key thing is the convergence of technology is finally happening to make a meaningful change in the industry. That the industry is really required, over the last 20, 30 years. We've come at it from different angles, but now we're really making a meaningful impact.
I sort of talked to them. They were in the drayage before you came up, and sort of the same kind of question. There's been so much cargo clutter, right? There's been so much shifting of the ports and the labor disputes, whatever is going to be happening. And again, thankfully that was settled. But how do you support your customers, and what's your strategy at that?
Well, that's a very good question. From the get-go, we actually designed kind of this digital freight marketplace to specifically address the agility and responsiveness that our customers need faced with extreme demand volatility and supply uncertainties that have become commonplace today. And then, given our coverage, we already have presence in about 50 markets in the US and 20 ports, and we have daily access to about 35,000 drivers, including our subsidiary-owned assets. So, in reality, we can spin up a coverage in a new service area within a matter of 24 hours, given our reach and the technology platform that we use. And our customer-centric approach, combined with the cutting-edge technology that we use, has enabled Cargomatic to craft rock-solid, dependable, and responsive solutions that our customers really need to address their just-in-time as well as just-in-case requirements and contingencies. And on top of that, customers also need a single sort of centralized control tower. That term gets thrown around quite a bit, but what does it really mean? A control tower.
What does it mean? I was going to stop you and be like, what? I hear that. That's on people's websites, but what does it mean?
I think what it enables our customers to do is seamlessly orchestrate these massive shifts when they happen, not only through the physical supply chain, but more importantly through the information and financial supply chains as well. So no matter what the cost, the customers are always armed with the right decision, the right tools to move quickly and deploy solutions with ease and confidence.
Now, so if I asked this question 2 years ago, people would say pandemic, freight congestion, all that kind of thing. But now we're in 2023. From your perspective and what you work on, what is the hot button issue in supply chain that your clients care about?
Actually, a couple of issues. I think artificial intelligence and AI undeniably has become sort of the hottest topic, right? That's been discussed in the industry. Yet, amongst all the enthusiasm around artificial intelligence, and specifically as it pertains to the supply chain and logistics industry, one crucial aspect is often overlooked. That the fundamental requirement to build solid artificial intelligence rests on a foundation of good quality and plenty of data. Simply stated, data is the fuel that powers the modern supply chain.
Hold on. You're bringing up another sort of... So I used to do RFPs in a previous life before I sat here and talked into a microphone. And one of my biggest issues in doing RFPs is I get Excel files all the time where data did not match up. The number of truck counts did not match up. Cost per truck did not match up. Data is very dirty in this business. How do you deal with inefficient data?
Yeah, actually, so let me explain what the problems are, and then I'll come back to inefficient. How do we deal with that? So I think the biggest problem, you're right on. If you look at the ecosystem, our ecosystem, the supply chain logistics industry, the data is all scattered in disconnected spreadsheets, or it's entangled in phone calls or paper documents or emails, or it's trapped in legacy systems that are incompatible. And so we've created these information silos all along the supply chain, right? And that's what really creates the impediment for seamless collaboration, right? It hampers seamless exchange of information. I'll give you an example, like truckers need data from ports and shippers. Whereas shippers and ports need data back from the truckers, right? But exchanging that information is simply a monumental undertaking given all the problems that I just highlighted. So what we focused on is really about how do you sort of recycle, first of all, how do you capture data in an intelligent way? Then how do you recycle the data so you can reuse the data intelligently and build all the sophisticated algorithms that you need on top of that. So otherwise, it's almost like you're driving this very sophisticated and powerful vehicle called artificial intelligence with inferior fuel. It simply doesn't work, right? And it undermines the industry's potential to solve meaningful problems, right, and drive innovation in the industry.
So I know a truck driver, his name's Cool Mo D, right? And he was talking recently about the butterfly effect that happens to a driver. And what happened is he was on his way to Arizona, he got a flat tire. But the problem with that is now that he got a flat tire, he couldn't drop a load that he was expected to drop, right? So because of that, it cost him an extra day. He's not going to be able to catch his load in California. So he loses that load. So he's going to lose 2 payments and has to worry about his tire. And that's the big butterfly. And there's small things. It starts out with a flat tire, right? How does AI and data deal with that real world reality of the butterfly effect?
That's another great question, by the way. So I think artificial intelligence or AI is really good at prediction based on historical patterns and historical data. But we've taken it a step further by adding in a layer of very robust exception management capabilities. What do we mean by that? You need really 3 components. First, you need timely detection. You need to go out and look for problematic shipments. You got to look for shipments that are deviating from the plan or going off track. No pun intended there.
Sure.
Completely, right? So what you need is timely detection. You need intervention to triage the issue quickly, and then quickly deploy the solution to stop the bleeding before it becomes a costly problem down the road.
Now, this is a lot of theory. What is Cargomatic actually doing to address these issues?
I think at the very core, if you look at what we've done, is focused on that data management. Because without data, as I said, you have a weak foundation. So once you get clean data in the system, that's when the magic starts to unfold. So what we've done at Cargomatic is taken this, inspiration from the Swiss Army knife. It's a handy, many-bladed tool.
Yeah.
And we need that kind of tool to really wrangle data out of the variety of systems that are used by our carriers, our shippers, and the ecosystem at large. So let me give you some examples. If your preferred method of communication is EDI or electronic data interchange, then we have a blade to move data with EDI.
Yeah.
If your system talks API, we even have a blade for RESTful APIs. If all your system can do is spit out images or PDF or paper documents, we use computer vision AI called that utilizes optical character recognition, OCR, to even wrangle data out of text documents, right, or paper documents. And if you have nothing, we can also go and create a bot using robotic process automation or RPA that essentially automates repetitive, mundane tasks that a human user would have to do otherwise. So we have been sharpening a number of these blades, adding more blades, and we have several other tricks up our sleeves. So that's one set, just focused on getting the right data. The second layer that we've built on top of that is efficient recycling, intelligent and efficient recycling and reuse of data. Once you do that, you minimize the effort to actually, because all across those 20 silos that I just mentioned earlier, everybody's entering the same data over and over again. Now, if you can recycle and reuse that data, you minimize the burden on manual data entry, but also, minimize or reduce errors and omissions that happen with manual data entry. So that's the second layer. The third layer that we focused on is interoperability. So we've deeply integrated our transportation network, the trucking network, into key infrastructure nodes across the extended supply chain. So that would include ports, ocean transportation network, the railroads, as well as storage facilities. So that way our customers have an end-to-end picture, the complete story essentially in a single pane of glass instead of doing a swivel chair across multiple systems. So that has enormous benefit. All of these innovations has helped us really create clean data, reuse data in a way to power, then build the sophisticated workflows and intelligence that we all crave and need. And those are the innovations that we brought to the table. So what it allows us to do is then really create the right fuel, that is the data, to power our customer supply chain. And once we do that, then we are able to deliver exceptional value to our customers by protecting their top line as well as enhancing the bottom line.
Okay, so let's land the plane. Before I let you go, where do you see AI fitting into all this? So you get the data where it needs to be. Look, because there's so much talk about AI, and everyone knows ChatGPT and that stuff, and the good and the bad, but what's real? Be realistic about AI. What can it do in supply chain?
So there's several use cases, right? There's use cases for automation. There's use cases for prediction. There's use cases for decision making. Let's take an example for automation. Let's go back to the paper documents that I was talking about, right? So I know ChatGPT, it's caught the imagination of everybody, right? So there's a huge difference between the AI that you need for text recognition versus text interpretation.
Yes.
So big problem with text recognition. What is a big problem with text recognition is, if you look at those paper documents and the scanned documents, they're not all high quality.
Yeah.
They're not all in the same format. Sometimes you have handwritten notes on a paper document. So recognition itself is such a monumental undertaking, given the quality of the input that's coming at you. Then the other problem, the form of AI that we need, is the output. We have no creative license. A bill of lading has to be a bill of lading, right? A manifest has to be a manifest. A load tender has to be a load tender. It's not like I can write poetry around it, right? It needs to be very, very structured. So the output needs to be very structured. So that's one example of AI that is used in automation. Predictions, well understood, with the more historical data you have, you look for patterns and look for repeat of those patterns in the current scenario. So that's another form. So we can, the use case there would be predicting, variability in supply, or seasonality, detecting seasonality, cyclicality, and then making sure you have you can take care of the ebb and flow in demand and supply.
Sure. Well, Sunil, people want to learn more about Cargomatic. They want to meet you. Where are they going to find you at this event?
We're located right here on kiosk A116. That's on the left-hand side of.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much for stopping by. It was great to see you in Cleveland.
Yeah, thank you.
Maybe we'll see you in Chattanooga sometime.
Definitely.
Maybe sometime in November, F3. Maybe we'll see all of you there. But in the meantime,